Okay, have you seen the movie The Thunderbolts? Tell me you have. Because honestly, to me, that's one of the best Marvel movies out there. One of the best. Hands down, one of the best. So why is The Thunderbolts so great? To me, it's great because it represents the system. And if we have to embody the system, that's Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. She represents exactly what the system is and how the system uses us for its benefit, and how when the system cannot use us anymore, how it gets rid of us. If you remember, she had this four, came to be five, but anti-heroes that she sent on missions, and then she just couldn't use them anymore and they knew too much, so she wanted to get rid of them. So she sent them on the last mission in order for them to gain their freedom. Yes? So they went on the mission and they realized that they were sent to kill each other because they were looking for their freedom. They wanted Valentina to erase everything that had happened to them so they can become this new person. But it didn't happen like that. What happened is that these 4 or 5 broken people got together to help each other. But let's take one at a time and let's see what happened with one of them, each one of them. The first one, let's talk about Red Guardian. If you see Red Guardian is the part of us that wants recognition, that maybe we did something great when we were younger or before at some point, or maybe we just want to be recognized somehow. Red Guardian was an excellent soldier that the Russians took and injected the serum on him, and he became some sort of, what's his name? First Avenger? Captain America. Somehow he became this great soldier, super soldier, and he was applauded by everybody in Russia, and etc., etc. Now he's in this position that he misses that, like he tells Yelena. Yes. And that's that part of us that want that recognition. Broken inside for the things that he lived and for the things that he did way back when. Another person in that group is Yelena. So she is a Black Widow, as you already know. What happened with her also is that, like all the rest, broken inside, that's the part of us that's broken inside, and uses sarcasm and jokes as a defense mechanism. She's so broken inside that her defense mechanism is to say something funny. But we see in the movie that she has, like she says, I don't have anybody to go home to. I don't know what to do with my life. I feel empty inside. And we're going to talk about her a little later on. We have the Ghost. The Ghost is very, very interesting too, because she doesn't say much, and she has this pain inside. That's that part of us we have that pain inside of us, and we hold that pain inside, and we continue living and doing things, but with that pain that doesn't go. She's that part of us. Who am I missing? U.S. agent, of course. the Captain America wannabe US agent. Super excellent person first, and then soldier. He was the best in football. He was the best soldier, which is the reason he was chosen to be the new Captain America. And yet, not even like that was okay for the system. So the system betrayed a guy that did all of that for them. Yes? And it was the reason why he became so bitter and in such a way. Because knowing that he did all the right things always to be the best person he could be, and not even like that was enough for the system. Remember that right now in this movie, the system is represented by Valentina Allegra Bill Fontaine. Last but not least, we have Bucky, my favorite character in this movie and the Winter Soldier. And a lot of people favorite too. Bucky thought that by being forgiven, he could be okay and live. But sometimes the past continues to be there. Yeah, he became a senator, but the past still there. And he needed to come back to something that gave him meaning, because being a senator just wasn't enough. That's why he went back. He didn't go back to save these people and bring them to Senate because he was a good guy, that he wanted to bring Valentina into the law and all that stuff. He didn't do it for that reason. He did it because he needed that. So as you see, they were all broken inside. So now, this is what the system do to us. It breaks us inside and then uses us. And then when they can't use us anymore, they get rid of us. Yes? Now, what's interesting about it is that Marvel shows them as if they became some sort of family. But they're not really a family. It's like the land of the misfit toys. Yes? Everybody is broken inside, and although they might be helping each other somehow, you can't call that a unit, I should say. You call that misery loves company. Each one of them is broken, and they get together with somebody who is also broken, which is exactly what we do. Fed by the beast, by the system. The system gives us cigarettes and then tell us cigarettes is not for you. It gives us sugar so we get fat, and then it says if you get fat you can have diabetes and it's not good for you and for your lungs and all that stuff. The system gives us this thing that looks good, and then it tells us that thing is not good for us. The system gave us bread and circus to keep us occupied with unimportant things. The system gave us cell phones, and then it says we spend too much time on cell phones that we've lost touch with humanity, and we don't know how to have human skills anymore. And by the way, I'm going to be talking about human skills in other episodes. So we see these anti-heroes and we say, oh, how cool, they're working together, it's gonna be nice. But no, what it is that the system saw that they can use them, so they wanted to get rid of them. And then all of a sudden they did something that the system say, you know what, we can still use them. And then Yelena tells Valentina, we own you. No, you don't. You really don't. How do you come out of that? As you remember, in the movie, there's this part where Yelena walks into the darkness. I said in a shirt that I have that she didn't walk into the darkness because she was the bravest one from the group. She did it because she was fed up. She couldn't run anymore. While everybody else was running from the darkness, she said, I can't run from this darkness anymore. You know, it seems like everybody's dying all of a sudden, becoming shadows. So I'm done with this. As we already know, she didn't die, but she was presented with her dark secrets. And her darkest secret was when she was little that she had to bring her best friend into this area and she was killed. She had to do that. That was part of the becoming a Black Widow. And she continued to have never mind the fact that she killed a whole bunch of people and did a whole bunch of bad things too. But for some reason, she kept that one part there. And she had the opportunity to heal that. Yes, she didn't do it. She ran away from it, trying to save Bob or the Sentry or the Void, whichever way you want to call him. As she comes out, she is reunited with the group, yes, but she still has that thing inside, all of them. They all had the opportunity to heal that part, which is how you actually beat the system. Can you be controlled by the system? Yes. Can I be controlled? Yes. But mostly not. Because I tend to question everything. I just don't accept things just because. You know, if you tell me you are blue, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to analyze why you're blue and see what makes sense about that. If you tell me you're red, I'm going to do exactly the same. Like my mom used to say, I'm a spirit of contradiction. I'm not a contradiction just because I like to be a contradiction, just because of the fun of it, but because I like to think what really makes sense. Yes? I was in a meeting yesterday from the Baha'i temple, the Baha'i religion. If you don't know what the Baha'i is, I'm going to invite you to look into it. Very interesting. Is mostly about helping people. That's, you know, it's not about praying to one person, praying to God or praying to anything. It's more about learning that we can evolve helping other people. I think is great. So I go and I listen to what they have to say. You know, they have meetings on Sundays and I interject every time I can. And yesterday was no different. The facilitator was talking about how we can become a unity somehow, humanity. And she was talking about spirituality and how we have this duality in us. We have the spiritual self and we have the physical self. And I honestly told her, I've been studying spirituality things for many years and I still don't know what spirituality is. And I also don't understand how you say spirituality and physical as if they're two different things. There cannot be any spiritual without the body. We need the body to understand that there is such thing as spiritual. And I think she didn't like really that I challenged her. It was a group of people there, but it felt like it was just a conversation between her and another one that was talking about the energy and things like that. And that shit pisses me off like you have no idea. Because it really doesn't help shit talking about, oh, it's the energy. We have to be, we all the energy and we all vibrate. No, I mean, come on. Yeah, we might have energy somehow. But yeah, that if you vibrate, no, just stop it. Stop it. Just stop. If you want to see me getting cranky, start talking about that bullshit. And people love that. And why do people love that? Because we like to outsource our thinking. Because, like Henry Ford said, it is tiring to think, paraphrasing. That's why now many people do it. People don't like to think. That's why we outsource our thinking. And because we outsource our thinking, that's why we have so much conflict. The left and the right and the gay and the hetero and the this and that and the white and the black, all that bullshit is because we just lazy. We don't like to think. We remember and we just repeat shit like she was saying. We just continue to repeat shit like, but guess it's fun of it. Like, for instance, they talk about, yeah, how we can manifest and we can create our own lives and whatever. And they all talk about the split atom experiment or split something experiment. They all say the same thing. And everybody repeats that. And everybody says, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. It makes no fucking sense. None. You know why? Because even though you say that makes sense, your life's still shit. And you know why your life's still shit? Because the system wants your life to be shit. Because that's how the system controls you. But when you realize that and you become at peace with your own dark side, then the system cannot do anything else with you. It cannot control you. If you are at peace with your dark side, you're not afraid of anything else ever. So the system cannot control you, no matter what it does. But we continue with that. My cousin posted something about what happened in Minnesota a few days ago, some days ago, a week or something like that ago. I still don't know what happened. I don't spend time watching those things. But I asked him, I said, why did you post that? What's behind that post? He said, oh, no, well, I just felt indignation because of what happened. I'm like, well, you are entitled to your indignation, but how does that help anything in anything? Well, yeah. I said, here's what happened. What you're actually doing is feeding the beast. You're helping for people to be separated, one against the other. What you're doing actually is not helping in anything. People taking on the street saying, I know that some of them get paid. I know some of them hate ICE and Trump and just know that. I know some of them just don't have anything else to do in life, so they go out and they chant and stuff like that. I understand that. But does that help in anything? No, it doesn't. What it does is helps continue to feed the beast, so we continue fighting each other. And if we fight each other, we have no strength whatsoever to understand that we're feeding the beast and to defeat it. I'm telling you that if the system had a baby, that baby was Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. She represents everything that the system is. And I say, man, but What can we do about it? How can we beat the system? You can beat it by being at peace with your own dark side. But that requires you to analyze yourself so you understand your dark side. Those things that you don't even want to look at about yourself. Those things are actually what are going to free you from the system. Can the system still get me? Yeah, of course, because they have their ways. But I can see a little better now. So I see the system coming from afar. You're never going to see me like, oh my God, yeah, this one, oh no, the other one, oh no, Trump is bad, oh no, the liberals are good. None of that shit. You're not going to see me doing that because I know what they do. A little while ago, we had the Epstein files, and yeah, Epstein and who was there, and Trump was there, and Obama was there, and the other president was there, Clinton, and blah blah blah, and the prince whatever was there too. And then all of a sudden they give us what? They give us Venezuela. And guess what we're talking about? We talk about Venezuela. Yeah, Venezuela this. And don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that they took that idiot out of Venezuela because he's an idiot. I have family in another country that went through a dictatorship too. So I'm very happy that they took that stupid ass from Venezuela. That said, I understand very well that it's not about the oil. It's really not about the oil. Everybody's saying, yeah, it's because they want Venezuela's oil. Maybe, but that's not the main reason. There's always something behind that and nobody's paying attention to because we outsource our thinking. Yes? And then we got the Venezuela stuff. Let's give him something else. Let's give him ICE doing shit in Minneapolis. And what is everybody talking about now? Now they talk about Venezuela. Now they're talking about Minneapolis, and it's talking about Venezuela. It's talking about Minneapolis. And we're not talking about what the system is doing to keep us idiots, to keep us blind. We're not talking about that. Why? Because it takes work to think. And we don't want to work. Why work? Work is exhausting. I don't want to work. I want to watch TV. And have you seen Idiocracy? If you haven't, I want you to see it. It's a stupid movie, very stupid, but it makes a lot of sense. That's us. We're heading actually that way. Incapable of thinking because we are outsourcing our thinking. And I'm going to repeat that 1,000 times. We outsource our thinking. How do we become adults? We become adults taking accountability for the things we do. Be accountable for your thinking. Analyze what's happening. Don't just post shit because it looks nice and it looks like you're really doing something. You feel like you're doing something if you post something pro or against the government. You're not doing shit. Sorry to burst your bubble. You're not. But I hope that you take a little time to think about this. And become a little bit of a contrarian. So if you're going to do something, have that little part of you that says, why the fuck are you going to do that? Does that really make sense to you? Dumbass? You got to have that little part of you that says something like that. So you stop, take a step back and see it from afar. I remember that the way to come out of darkness is through it. You cannot, your dark side is going to be with you forever. So either you come at peace with that dark side, or you're going to try to run away from something that you can't run away from your whole life. Yes, let's leave it at that. I'm thirsty. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.